Okay, so this is going to be a hip assessment video. To start with, we do want you to do a 9-point flexibility test just to understand whether you're on the hypomobile or the hypermobile side of the equation, because that'll indicate whether you're more than likely going to need more mobility work or more stability and strength work. So just quickly, so if you can get 90 degrees at your pinky with a straight wrist, 1 point, and then 1 point if you can do both sides. There's 2 points. Next one, if you can cock your hand over, touch your thumb to your forearm, you get 1 point. I can't do that on either side, so I get 0 points there. But that could be 4 points in total if you could do all those things. Straighten your elbows. If you can get hyperextend your elbows, which I can't, they're pretty straight, you get 1 point, 1 point. So I get 0 there. I'm on 2 out of 6 so far. Then lock your knees straight. My knees are pretty straight. They're not actually hyperextending. Well, it almost looks like they are there, but they don't. So if you could hyperextend your knees, you'd get another 2 points. I get 0. And then if you can keep your legs straight and get your hands flat to the floor, which I certainly can't, you'll get another 1 point. So there's 9 points there in total. I've gotten 2, so I'm on the stiff end of the equation. So just let me know, what did you get out of 9? Now we're going to go into a couple of different assessments, so follow along, film yourself doing these and send them through to me so we can have a bit of a look. Test number 1, we're going to stand in front of the camera, we're going to go sideways and we're going to have slightly soft knees and then like very soft knees, like very slightly soft knees. Then we're going to hinge forward and without rounding our lower back, we're keeping a neutral spine. We're going to see if we can achieve 90 degrees or more at our hips. So how much range of motion do we have here before we start to get really tight in our hamstrings and we can't go any further without rounding? That's test number 1. Let me know how far you can get. Okay, so test number 2 we're going to do is going to be a seated hinge forward. Test our adductor, test how much range we've got through our hips in abduction. So 90 degrees at our hips we want to aim for and a vertical shin. From there we're going to put our palms facing in and we're going to hinge forward as far as we can. So side on, this will look like so, and we want to do this side on. So making sure we've got 90 degrees at our hips. If we can't do that, let me know in the video. From there, neutral spine without rounding or flexing our lower back. We're going to keep a neutral spine, we're going to hinge forward as far as we can. I want to see if we can, without flexing, keeping our shoulder blades locked in, keeping our spine neutral, can we get our fingertips to our ankles while maintaining this 90-degree angle at our hips as well? So I can, I'm looking pretty good, but let me know where you're at with that one. The next one we're going to do is we're going to be on the edge of a bench. Oh, that's a little bit dodgy. We're going to slide in on the edge of a bench where our leg can hang freely. We're going to make sure we pull our lower back into the bench and pull this knee to our chest. So lower back is flat, hard against the bench. From there we can relax down and we're just going to let this leg hang. So I wanted to see what it looks like. Ideally our knee sits just below our hip and our shin hangs pretty vertically, but just let your leg hang and let it go wherever it goes. Then we'll bring it up and we'll switch sides. So knee into the chest, I'll move that knee into the chest, lower back hard into the bench, pull this knee up and just let that other leg hang. So we can see my knee probably isn't hanging as low as I'd ideally like it to. My shin looks a little bit vertical as well. Not quite vertical as well, which indicates there's a little bit of tightness through the front here, potentially not quite enough glute activation. Well, when I do that test, I can also feel a lot of tightness through the front of, especially my left hip, which is the hip where I've had a little bit less glute activation, a little bit of extra niggles and whatnot on that left hip. So that's a really good indicator there. I'm not getting quite enough hip extension and definitely not quite enough glute activation as well. So let me know how you go with that one. Send me through the video to show me how you go with that one. The next one we're going to look at is going to be ability to internally rotate and externally rotate at both hips. So what you're going to do is, again, set your camera up to look down on you. You're going to lie on the ground facing away from the camera. This looks pretty good. From here, we're going to bend our knee, one knee to 90 degree, and we don't want any movement through our hips. We just want our hips to be staying neutral the whole time. And we're going to let our leg fall over. We're going to let our leg fall over. So internal, well, that's actually external rotation, but drop it across your body and then drop it out to the side as far as we go without shifting your hips. So just keeping your hips neutral, out to the side. All right, and then we're going to do the other leg as well. And you can probably notice a bit of a difference with mine, left to right. All right, and stop there. So just, I'll have seen how those have looked side to side, but also let me know how it felt. Like when I did it on my right side, I felt a little bit of a tightness through the front, through my TFL and this front lateral part of my hip. And on my left side, I felt a little bit of tightness on the inside of my hip. So just let me know if there was anywhere specific in those movements that you felt a bit of tightness. If you felt anything in your lower back or anything, just let me know as well. Okay, so last of all in this assessment, what I want you to do is just point to, like film yourself pointing to the different areas and talking through what you're experiencing. So like what makes things worse, what makes things better, what you're sort of noticing. So if I could say, I feel a tightness in the front of my hip when I walk, I feel a little bit restricted when I step through on my left side. This glute just doesn't seem to feel as hard or as contracted as this glute. So my left glute doesn't feel as contracted as my right glute. And I do sometimes get an ache through this whole left region of my hip between my pelvis bone and that bony part that pokes out. I get a bit of an ache through there as well, quite commonly. So that's an example of something you could say. So just tell me a bit about what happens for you, what makes it worse, what makes it better.